The Trump regime is dying quick before our eyes, collapsing under the weight of its corruption, its incompetence, its hate that the American people are sick and tired of. Donald Trump can post away ranting and raving all night, and into the morning he can send his deranged emails saying, "I love you, please don't leave me." But Americans are sick and tired of this crap. Americans who, for reasons that are unclear to me, still voted for this fraud before, are turning against him. Americans are saying this is not who we are. I mean, just take a look at Donald Trump's behavior in like the last 12 hours and compare it to what's going on in these United States of America. By the way, please hit subscribe to the MeidasTouch YouTube channel. We're on our way to 6 million subscribers. I'd love to try to hit that number before the New Year's. You know we're under attack from the Trump regime and by state regime media known as Fox. We're leading all independent media. You may think you're subscribed to this channel, but double check that you are. Hit subscribe and maybe tell a few friends about it today. It would mean a lot to me. So yesterday, Donald Trump attacks Democratic Senator Raphael Warnock. And Donald Trump says, Raphael Warnock, he's out there talking about religion, and he's using religion to divide the country. If I ever did that, it would be front page news. Whatever happened to the separation of church and state? That's these 1984 dystopian tactics. Donald Trump has literally used religion to divide. Donald Trump, who probably has never even stepped foot, not even matter if he does or he doesn't, but I was going to say never really stepped foot in a church intentionally, with the intentionality, I should say. But regardless, I mean, he stands for everything that just being a good person and having basic morals. You know, Donald Trump is against all of that while Warnock brings people together. But just take a look what Donald Trump, I could show you so many more of his posts, post this, post that, you know, just the deranged stuff. But now he's attaching his social media posts to the White House. So it wasn't enough to destroy the East Wing of the White House to build a golden ballroom, which he now claims is going to cost $400 million. He says no taxpayer money is going to that, but we know he lies about everything because you've seen the expose and reports we've done here about what it's really about, that secret bunker underneath where the East Wing of the White House used to be, the same way Hitler built a bunker for himself under a golden ballroom. I think Trump is following, in my opinion, that playbook. You know, it's not enough to just deface the White House that way, right? He's literally posting truth socials onto the walls of the White House. And again, I don't care what political party you're from, Democrat, Republican, Independent, this right here should just disgust you. I went over this yesterday, but I'll just show you again. You know that he's posted a photo of like an auto pen and said, this is what Joe Biden looks like. But then underneath it, again, attached to the White House wall, it says, Sleepy Joe Biden was by far the worst president in America history, taking office as a result of the most corrupt election ever seen in the United States. Biden oversaw a series of unprecedented disasters that brought the nation to the brink of destruction. Nicknamed Sleepy and Crooked, Joe Biden was dominated by his radical left handlers. And again, anybody who supports this or normalizes this, I'm sorry. It's not okay. That behavior is not normal. There's something wrong with you if you're okay about this. Regarding former President Clinton, Donald Trump goes, in 2016, Clinton's wife Hillary lost the presidency to Donald J. Trump. Then you had former President Obama. He writes, Barack Hussein Obama was the first black president and one of the most divisive political figures in American history. As president, he passed the highly ineffective Unaffordable Care Act. That's what you're doing right now while 20 million Americans are about to lose their health care, in addition to the fact that you've ripped away Medicaid from tens of millions of Americans already under the disastrous budget bill, while you and MAGA Mike have refused to extend the Affordable Care Act subsidies, forcing actually 4 Republicans to join with Democrats in a discharge petition to force a vote on the House floor. And now that a vote is forced on the House floor, to allow an extension of the Affordable Care Act subsidies for 3 years, thanks to Democratic maneuvering here and getting those 4 Republicans to join. MAGA Mike and Donald Trump shut down Congress and tell everybody, go on vacation, go home. We don't want you to vote on this. So now the subsidies, the Affordable Care Act subsidies, are going to expire and people are going to be screwed when there actually is a bipartisan discharge petition. MAGA Mike just shut down Congress early. I'm going to do a whole other video about that in 90 minutes, so please check back. And can I just show you some of these pathetic messages that Donald Trump is sending to his remaining cult followers? I unfortunately subscribe to it. I do it so I can share it with you so you don't have to. But just take a look at what Donald Trump sent yesterday. These were all from yesterday alone. So at 5:20 a.m., if you're in Trump's cult, you get an email like this. Hello? Is anyone there? This is a test from Trump. I want to make sure my emails are getting through before the midterms. It's a high priority. Please respond. Secure Trump submission portal. Then you click it and it asks you for money. Then at 7:55 a.m., you get this one. Please confirm receipt of this email. Ben, did I do something wrong? I need your help to make sure my messages are getting through to top patriots in your neighborhood before midnight. Please confirm recipient using this personal link. And when you click it, he asks for money. Then Donald Trump at 11:04 a.m. Okay, just so you're following, 5:20 a.m., 7:55 a.m., now 11:04 a.m. Ben, are you still with me? In just a short time, I will address the nation. The cameras will be rolling. The media will be watching. And what I'm about to say will not be business as usual. Yeah, it was one of the most deranged speeches ever, probably the most deranged presidential address for sure, the most deranged presidential address ever. I think what was trending was like hashtag Adderall president was trending. People watched that. They were like, what the hell was that? Then at 2:28 p.m., Donald Trump goes, alert, alert, Donald Trump just sent you an invite. The catch of the day, you must accept immediately. Accept invitation here. You click it, and guess what it asks you for? Money. And then Donald Trump at 4:49 p.m. says, I am thankful for Ben. I will always love you because come hell or high water, you never betrayed Trump. It's President Trump here. Read this before 2026. You click it, and guess what it asks for? Money. So these tactics, though, I want to be very clear with you. They are a form of brainwashing tactics. It's a combination of love bombing, manipulation, and it actually tries to be predatorial and fester in the minds of cult supporters. I love you. I love you. You're not going to hurt me, are you? Please stay with me. That's what that's actually all about. And it's the personality of an abuser. If you've had abusers in your life, psychological abusers or other, you know this, but Donald Trump's a predator. He's a predator, right? I mean, he's been found liable for sexual abuse in a civil federal court case. He's a fraud. Separately, he's a convicted felon. I mean, he's a bankrupter. He's a bad guy. He's bankrupted all. He's doing bad person things because he's an evil, bad person. Like, no, that's sometimes the simplest explanation is what it is. Occam's razor, bad guy, criminal, felon. He's found civilly liable for sexual abuse. And folks, I bring this up, though, not to just say, oh, look at the crazy emails. I do want us to focus on that's what he's doing while we, the people, while the American people are suffering right now. I mean, just take a look what we're learning. Energy bills in U.S. have increased 13% since Trump took office, new report finds, and prices are expected to spike even further, especially as rising energy demands are driven by data centers and extreme heat. We know about the jobs report. Unemployment's now at 4.6%, and I think it's headed to 5% in no time. I've been saying that now for what? I've been saying we're headed to 5%. Go back 9 months, right? And everyone was being, Ben, you're being conspiratorial. You're being hyperbolic. What's up with the hyperbolic, Ben? Right? There's no such thing as bunkers under the White House. What are you talking about? You're not going to 5% unemployment. Ben, what do you mean this inflation? Okay, I'm just telling you. I mean, this is what's going on right here. And again, you went from 48 consecutive months of job growth under former President Biden, 16 million jobs created, to right now we're losing jobs. Last past 6 months, 3 of those months had job losses. It ain't good. It ain't good. But what I do like to see, and this is how I've described it, I'm not sure if I've described it to you this way. I said, as we approach the new year, the country is far worse off. But I think there's a feeling of so much more hope, although the country is far worse versus last year at this exact time. The country was far better. Remember, this was the time where I interviewed former President Biden in the Roosevelt room, right? I mean, I remember how dark those days were. There was very little hope, but the country was doing so much better. So it's paradoxical, right, in a way. And I hope, though, in a small way, and this is why I hope you subscribe to this channel, that we weren't creating false hope. I hope that we were showing the path of how we can fight, keep our optimism while remaining realistic at the same time. And I'll just show you there are signs of fighting all around. I mean, like Donald Trump sues BBC for $10 billion or something stupid like that. Rather than capitulating, BBC says, you know what? We're going to do what the Pulitzer Prize Board did, and we're going to fight back. We're going to send massive, aggressive discovery at Donald Trump. We're going to put him on the witness stand. We're going to ask everything about his cases, January 6th insurrection, all of his involvement. We're putting him on the stand. We're not backing down. I hope BBC follows through with that. But people are fighting back. Institutions are finally fighting back, and people are growing a spine. Not all. I mean, we still see a lot of people kissing the ring, but I think it is so much of a better understanding that we can fight and we can win. I wanted to share this with you as well. I want to give a hat tip to that to the Vanity Fair reporter, Christopher Anderson, the photojournalist, who took those photos of the people in the White House, Caroline Leavitt, where you can literally see the injections in the lips and everything. And here's how Caroline, this is what it says on Vanity Fair. How is Caroline Leavitt faring in the onslaught of questions about the Epstein files? It's pretty clear he wants us to be aggressively offensive when it comes to this issue. That's what they say, and they have this photo of her right here. Every line, spot, blemish, and blood vessel of Trump's inner circle was captured by Christopher Anderson's lens in Vanity Fair. The Post talked with the photographer about his reaction to the photos and the process behind them. Question: were there moments that you missed? Anything that happened that's on the cutting room floor? Answer: I don't think there's anything I missed that I wish I'd gotten. I'll give you a little anecdote. Stephen Miller was perhaps the most concerned about the portrait session. He asked me, should I smile or not smile? And I said, how would you want to be portrayed? We agreed that we would do a bit of both. And then when we were finished, he comes up to me to shake my hand and say goodbye. And he says to me, you know, you have a lot of power in the discretion you use to be kind to people. And I looked at him and I said, you know, you do too. Powerful words. Or how about when the photographer said the following: I didn't put injection sites on her lips. People seem to be shocked that I didn't use Photoshop to retouch out blemishes and her injection marks. I find it shocking that someone would expect me to retouch out those things. Wow. Powerful, powerful stuff right there. Now, a few other points I want to mention. So while the Epstein files are supposed to be released on Friday, it's not a coincidence that MAGA Mike is sending all of Congress home. MAGA Mike wants a distraction. MAGA Mike wants to create any possible distraction, deflection from Friday when the Epstein files are supposed to be released. And when we know Trump is going to obstruct, we know he's not going to turn over the full files. Number one. Number two, Donald Trump wants to start this war with Venezuela, right? Donald Trump's been out there yesterday. He's dropped the pretext that this is about drugs because, let's face it, Venezuela is not sending drugs to the United States. It's not. It's not. You can argue, and you can, and I think you'd be right, to say Maduro is a tyrant. Maduro is an illegitimate dictator. He's a dictator who's lost the election and he's holding on to power as a dictator. True. But then you have to ask yourself, should we do regime change? And I think we shouldn't. Should you get congressional authorization if there's going to be a war? Abso-freaking-lutely. Are they bringing in drugs to the United States? They're not. No fentanyl, no cocaine. So stop making that up. But Trump's dropped that. So Trump's new thing is they stole our oil. That's what Trump wrote yesterday. They stole our oil. They stole our land, and we need it back. They stole our oil. They stole our land. We need it back. And here's what Donald Trump said as he was yesterday on the tarmac. This is what he said yesterday. They took all of our oil and they want it back. Here, let's play this clip right here.
Just a blockade. Not going to let anybody going through that shouldn't be going through. You remember they took all of our energy rights. They took all of our oil from not that long ago, and we want it back. But they took it. They illegally took it.
They took our oil. Isn't the pretext very much like when Putin says, the reason we invaded Ukraine is denazification? It's like, denazification? I mean, Zelensky's Jewish. What are you talking about? Denazi? But that's the language that Russia uses. And Russia increasingly uses denazification now to talk about taking all over Europe. I'll do a video on this for Friday. I want to make it a little more comprehensive, but let me tease out the video right now. I showed you the clip of Donald Trump, right, on Venezuela saying they took all our oil and we want it back. If I didn't, let's just play that. But if I did, all right, now let's go to what Putin is saying though. So what Putin is saying yesterday is basically he called European countries little swine. And he said he's not interested in any peace deal with Ukraine. He wants total surrender. Putin said it, okay? And I've showed you clips before of Lavrov. I showed you clips of Kirill Dmitriev. I've showed you clips of Yuri Yushakov. I've showed you clips of the ambassador to the UK. All the Russians are saying the same thing. They want complete surrender of Ukraine. And just like Trump, they lie about everything. They claim they've conquered territory. Zelensky shows up there and goes, hello, I'm here. Our drone army just beat the Russians. It's the same mentality of deranged authoritarians. Putin and Trump are very similar. But it's just interesting as we look at Venezuela right now, as Donald Trump is saying, you know, we've got them surrounded with an armada. Like, do you know what Venezuela's response is? And I think this speaks to what they believe is the weakness of Donald Trump. Yesterday, the Venezuelan Navy started escorting its vessels after Trump's blockade threat. The New York Times reports the Venezuelan government was said to have ordered the escort. According to two people familiar with the matter, it was not immediately clear whether the vessels were subject to U.S. sanctions. And so Venezuela's response to all that firepower out there by the United States is we're going to have our Venezuelan Navy escort our container ships and our tankers to Asia. And they're standing up to Trump. So we'll see what happens. But they seem to be responding by saying, okay, this is what you want. This is what you get. So that's where we're at right now, folks. I'm going to do a video, as I said, in 90 minutes or so on MAGA Mike shutting down Congress. Make sure you watch that. Just hit subscribe if you can. I want to try to get this channel 6 million subscribers before Christmas and before the New Year's. Let's do our best. Thank you for all your work. Thanks for everything you do. I really mean it. We appreciate you.
Love this video? Support independent media and unlock exclusive content, ad-free videos, and custom emojis by becoming a paid member of our YouTube channel today. You can also gift memberships to others. Let's keep growing together.